So I don't really remember anything about this game except for that it's supposed to be kind of wild. What does it say? Um, yeah, the description for it on Steam is just a surreal strategy game for clowns and criminals. So your guess is as good as mine as to what this is going to be about. But let's check it out. Is there sound in this game? A man steps on the stage and taps a microphone. Good evening. Before we begin the game, there are a few announcements. First, due to unexpected circumstances, the part of player will be performed by an understudy. A couple of audible groans and one muffled boo erupt from the audience. Now, there's no need for that. This kid may not be a star yet, but I've seen her rehearse and I can guarantee that she'll impress you. She may not have had the time to memorize any of her lines, but, well, neither have any of you. The audience laughs. Second, we'd like to warn you that this production features a significant amount of obscenity. But before all the parents in the audience begin covering their children's ears, know this. This stage is enchanted such that the obscenities can only be heard by those of sufficient emotional maturity to handle hearing them. Maybe that's why we don't have any sound yet. Guys, you gotta be more mature. Come on. Well, obviously it's a game for clowns and serial killer, yeah. I didn't expect to be in a play. Yeah, I hope you don't have stage fright. And finally, the writing room would like to issue an apology for failing to complete the script before this performance. They're working on it as I speak, so it's my pleasure to announce that tonight's performance is also a race. Who will win? The writers furiously working to finish the script or the performers attempting to perform it? I can't answer that question, but I can announce that the race begins now. We hope you enjoy the game. There we go. There's sound. Okay. Where should you start? You were walking through the woods when the world around you shattered. This is both alarming and inconvenient. I am mature enough now, yeah. What, you said taxes, which made you more mature enough? Speaking of which, I need to get on that. Isolated on a lone stretch of ground, you were transfixed as the broken landscape began to rearrange itself. I don't understand what you want me to do. Okay. It's a match 3. Got it. Your eyes followed trees and hills, collapsing in lines of 3 as if the forest you knew were a knot becoming carefully untangled. You dared not move from your position as the ground beneath your feet quivered in anticipation of shattering further. You passed the time this way for who knows how long. I'm not particularly good at match 3s. Until the court slid into view. At first you weren't sure you could trust your eyes. But there it was, a great shining structure among the roiling landscape, something stable and enclosed. A shelter. You kept your eyes on it, hoping it would draw close enough that you might peer inside its windows. Surprisingly, the court appeared to be able to move freely through the broken landscape, disregarding lines of 3 as it approached your position. And just as it came near, the shattered landscape lurched. With little warning, the forest snapped back together as if someone had pulled the knot of reality tight once again. Except, by now it wasn't the forest you knew. It was hardly even a forest. You stood stretched and began the hike towards the court. Later, while the sun hovered low over the horizon, there was a feast within the walls of the court. Hoping to avoid any attention, you sought out a more isolated part of the hall. An empty table near an exit where no one would pay you any mind. A sound plan, except... The hall was soon overflowing with people, and your table was no exception. The young man seated to your right began engaging you in idle conversation. Well, this is a nightmare. The weather, how you found the meal, the role of the individual in society, how you preferred to make your bed, those sorts of subjects. Eventually, he inquired about how you came to arrive at the court. Which answers my question quite thoroughly while raising many more, he says as you conclude your tale. But forgive me, you haven't actually finished your story, have you? You admit that there is a bit more, though you have yet to make sense of it. The people within the court were earnest but odd. After your arrival, you attempted to get some answers about your whereabouts and the strange circumstances outside, except they spoke mostly in riddle and nonsense, didn't they? They did. Let's find out where you are. A man resting in the shade of the wall, a woman in a helmet doing her taxes. Okay, we're doing this one because Archfey was talking about taxes earlier. At a picnic table, a pair in front of a blackboard discussing magic, a small cat bathing in the sun atop the walls. Still, taxes. Said the woman, I would love to tell you where we are, friend, but I haven't even figured out where we aren't. She gestured at the stack of maps on the table behind her. We're not in any of those places. Sorry, we're just having a sip of water. Or at least we weren't. Who knows if that's true now that the tide has come in. You attempted another tactic, hoping to glean some information. Perhaps she should at least tell you the name of this place? Oh, well, we just call it the court. Its full name is the Court of... I forget. But something like the Court of Aluminum, but it starts with a T. By any chance, is it Titanium Court? You know, the name of the game. How do I keep consistently conjuring things into games, right? The Court of Tungsten? I don't know, maybe. I'm new here and I'm bad with names, but at least I can give you mine. I'm Robin. She held out her hand, which you shook as you introduced yourself. Now, if you'll excuse me, I should try to sort this out before the tide settles again. Next, you... Hold on. Are you seriously going to tell me about every individual conversation you had in excruciating detail? I mean, when you put it like that. But yes, when you put it like that, I am going to tell you about every conversation I had in excruciating detail. Yes, you are, because if he lets you proceed uninterrupted, he'll learn that many of these people played a part in what happened next. Fine, fine. Okay, we're talking to the cat next. Kitty. Aww. Aw. Said a small cat. Meow. Your questions are numerous but inconsequential, for they miss the current crisis. Meow. What crisis? Why, the crisis we're in. My dinner is late. It is so late, in fact, that I'm not certain if the concept of dinner isn't something I invented in a fugue of hunger. All other societal issues are mere trivialities in comparison to my plight. Have a good one. Please, stranger, might you fill my bowl, thus ending this ravenous standoff? A woman behind you laughed. Oh, don't listen to him. He's been fed twice today already. Okay, that's pretty accurate. We're gonna talk to the people who are discussing magic now. There appeared to be a seminar of some sort taking place in the courtyard. A seminar on magic, if you understood the text on the blackboard correctly. So, okay, first you take a metaphor and then you stretch it really thin, right? Right. Like really thin. So thin you forget its original purpose. And then you inflate it. Right. Just inflate the metaphor. I prefer to use my lungs for that. And then as it's inflating, you twist it like, hang on, like so. You still following? I think so. And hold on. Ta-da! There. Now it resembles a dog. A delight for children and such. Okay, so what happened to the metaphor? It's a lovely little balloon dog now. I see. They seem a bit busy, so you left them to it. Okay, so the last one we have is the man resting in the shade of the wall. Said the man, "Whoa, pal, before you ask me any more questions, you gotta know my deal." I haven't asked you a single fucking question, dude. Ahem. My deal is that I can only answer questions you haven't asked. So as to where we are, no can do. Sorry, can't tell ya. But what are we doing? Oh man, we're a court of fairies on a quest to find our missing queen. He looks to both sides and then said, "So let me know if you see her. Just don't ask me where she is." Okay, we got a new one. What did the outside of the court look like from atop the walls? Finding no immediate answers inside the court, you moved to the top of the walls and looked outward. Perhaps there was something you could see from this vantage that would shed more light on your situation. To the contrary, conditions outside the walls were even stranger than they were at the time of your arrival. The rest of the shattered landscape had now melted away. The court stood alone amid a void. But not for long. Like a rush of water, new surroundings began to surround. Much of the new topography was familiar to you. You could identify fields, water, woods, and hills. But there was something else to see. A menacing group of other courts were also part of the landscape. You were not alone in noticing these. Someone shouted, "The war! The war! The war is here!" Someone else, "That can't be. Puck said no wars until we find the queen." Then perhaps we should explain that to them. Fireball, Archface just ready, locked and loaded. Surrounded by the enemy on all sides and bereft of an obvious course of action, the people of the court began to pray. A man stepped forward and offered the first prayer. "I genuinely wish no harm upon our enemy. I merely pray that they would fade into obscurity." So we just match 3 of them? Okay, okay. Wow, I didn't expect that to work, but thanks. The woman named Robin offered the next prayer. "My notes are quite clear on this. Prayer does not work. Our time is much better spent steering the court. Remember, their soldiers cannot cross water. We should try to take shelter behind a moat until the tide comes in." This is just putting us adjacent to them. Why do we want to move there? There, now that river protects us from nearly half the field. But, like, we're adjacent to the bad guys now. Hills should also slow their advance, so for my next prayer... Well, the next prayer did not belong to Robin. The next prayer belonged to the cat. Meow. "So long as we are making demands of God, then my wish as ever is to be fed." Hey. You probably didn't notice, but something just happened. I did notice, actually. We got some, what's the word? Things. Resources. We got some resources over there. What happened is, by matching fields, the court had just acquired more food. Similarly, other parts of the battlefield can be matched to earn water, wood, or... I'm assuming that's stone. None of these fairies in the courts will tell you this. Their religion forbids them from acknowledging the existence of the user interface. But I am a secular tooltip. I fear no god. I will do my best to provide you with this vital information. You're welcome. Yes, more of that, please. That seems like a bad thing. We accidentally got rid of the water. Robin then bemoaned the loss of the moat. And we face even more of the enemy than before. Why must I bother? The scholars at the blackboard now chimed in. We've identified the most strategically sound location. This spot right here. If we just steer over there carefully, we should be fine. What, the top corner? Sitting pretty. But Robin interjected, "Stop! Look at the clock." The clock? What, in the bottom right? It's almost low tide. We have time left for only one more move. Hello again. So the clock and time left Robin alludes to is in fact this unassuming progress bar at the edge of your vision. What progress bar? The one at the top? No, that's my health. Are you talking about the orange? Tan? Whatever the fuck color that is. Yellow? Perfect fireballing range, true. This is great so far. It sure is something. Much like life, every move you make will deplete some of your remaining time. Oh, okay, it's depleting. If you have only one prayer left, what do you suggest we ask for? We might as well pray for a miracle. Well, that's a start. Apologies, but another explanation from me. Your humble tooltip is in order. The previous move chained multiple matches together. Because of this, you've earned some bonus time. For the fairies of the court, this might as well be a miracle. Is there any chance that we could do that again, whatever that was? But there was no such chance. The next prayer would be the last one. Incidentally, the next prayer also belonged to you. Unsure of what any of this really meant, you imitated the people around you and made a pointless decision. Oh, great. I changed slightly. The battlefield snapped together as the court snapped to attention. The places, everyone! The windows were shuttered, doors were slammed, large swaths of people emerged from further inside and formed a line near the gates. A tap on your shoulder. One of the scholars. We could use some help in the dressing room if you have a free hand. Along with the scholars introduced to you as Hop and Skip, you sorted through a large pile of costumes, props, and weapons. Check the tag on that, would you? Make sure I put it together properly. Press right bumper to hold. Press and hold right bumper to inspect. Farmer working fairy gathers food from fields. What the fuck? If it looks correct, feel free to hand it out. Press A to use. You handed the bundle of farmer's apparel to the first person in line. Unperturbed by the idea of harvesting wheat in the middle of a battle, they whistled as they marched out the front gate. Now do it again. Deploy another farmer. Okay. Now see if this one fits anybody. Soldier, offensive fairy, attacks the enemy. Okay. You handed a bundle of armor and weapons to the next person in line. She tested the weight of a weapon in her hand. I haven't received any training, so I'm just planning to hit anything that doesn't belong to us. I mean, that's probably fine. Hopefully we'll find jump later. Maybe the cat is jump. After this minimal preparation, the scholars considered their work finished. I'd place our chances of survival somewhere near abysmal, but I'm afraid this is the best we can do. A small mercy, at least, that the Queen isn't here to witness this. And so you waited with the others for the battle to commence. Hello, I must pester you one more time before I take my leave. Observe! This is the undo button. Use it to change your mind as many times as you wish before starting the battle. However, the official editorial position of this tooltip is that you are liable to lose no matter how many times you change your mind presently. When you're ready to lose, use the play button to proceed to the battle. Now I will leave you in peace. Okay, so... God damn it. But, should you ever desire the company of your loyal tooltip, all you need to do is press and hold the right bumper over any button tile, and I will do my best to explain it to you. Okay, so I'm gonna guess that they probably put us kind of in the right idea with what they told us to equip. So let's hit play. Yes, commence the battle. Well, that went poorly. Either that or it's scripted for us to lose, which, judging by the numbers of them, I'm guessing. Okay. And then, sometime later, as the sun hovered low over the horizon, there was a feast within the walls of the court. The man to your right is beside himself with laughter. Okay, so our court, caught off guard by a sudden war, stumbled behind enemy lines, made a token attempt at resistance, and was summarily toppled. Do I have that right? Yes, that does appear to be an accurate summary. Well then, I'm certainly glad I slept through that. As you look at your surroundings, a switch flips in your mind. Your own story makes little sense now that you think on it. How did you... Your companion pats your arm. Don't worry about it. If our court couldn't withstand physical destruction, we wouldn't last 5 minutes within the pull of the tide. But enough of that. It's about time I made some introductions. As you've narrowly avoided learning, this place is called Titanium Court. Meanwhile, I have the honor of being the steward of the court. My name is Puck, although my lovers and enemies call me Goodfellow. I am chief advisor and friend eternal to our fair queen. As fancy as that sounds, in practice it means he's unemployed. One of the scholars, the man named Hop, has approached your table. He appears to have had a drink or two. Or 4. He pulls up a seat between the two of you and assumes a jovial posture. Guess the queen stood us up, eh, good fellow? Lucky for her, I'd say. I'd skip town too if I knew what a sorry showing the court would make. But on the plus side, we can continue draining her wine cellar. Now, are you going to help me with that, good fellow, or are you just going to stare at me? I don't mind either way. Puck, staring at the scholar, mouth agape, slowly inhales and pinches his nose. I definitely understand that feeling. What fools these... How drunk are you, Hop? The queen is right here. I've been speaking to her for the entire feast. Wait, am I the queen? An excited hush falls over the entire hall. Hop blinks, looks at you, looks at Puck, turns bright red. Oh, I see it now. That calls for Her Majesty's finest vintage. I'll be right back. As Hop makes a quick exit, you look steadily at Puck and shake your head. There's no use denying it now, not after the tale you told me. If you'd like more proof, just take a look at where you're seated. You slowly take in your surround. Yeah, we're at the head of the table. Puck smiles. Now, if I may conclude my introductions, let me introduce the court to your majesty and likewise. Since when is Moggy a Fae Queen? Always been. Always been. He stands up and addresses the entire hall as he says, long absent, the Queen of Titanium Court, always a stranger, has arrived. Cheers erupt and dessert is served. I mean, that would be fantastic if every time I walked into a room, cheers erupted and dessert was served. Sounds good to me. What is this fucking game? Mom said it's Moggy's turn to rule my realm. Oh, man. To your left, Hop returned with an armful of glasses and bottles. At about time, too, good fellow. Where did you tell her about the war yet? Chapter 1, a place beloved only by clowns and criminals. And then, I actually thought that was going to be the end of the demo, honestly. I was like, oh, that's short. But I have a feeling the demo is quite a bit longer, considering that we're getting a Chapter 1 title. And then, just a short while after the feast, the court returns to war. You're in charge of the war now, Your Majesty. You should be fine. Just remember everything we've taught you about magical warfare. I'm so bad at match 3 games, guys. I don't play mobile games, and it's mostly like a mobile game. Blinking slowly, you remind them that at this exact moment, they have taught you roughly nothing about magical warfare. Oh, good. She remembers quite clearly. High tide. While the field is broken, arrange it to your advantage. Wait, what's this? Inspect your available units. Consult the ever-changing map. What? You don't know what any of this means. Helpful. What's this? What is that? I don't know what that is. Can we... Oh, okay. Never mind. Never mind. I still don't know what that means. Okay. Oh fuck, we ran out of time. Okay, whatever. Okay. Make preparations for the coming battle, so we need to give some of these. Get some water. I can't tell how many of these we can do. Okay. Okay, we're out of that. We don't have enough wheat. Okay, okay, I see. Commence the battle. Augie, trust me when I tell you this, the Fey realms follow one rule above all, except maybe the wordplay thing, rule of cool, yeah. What the fuck was that? A Jenga tower? I think we're doing okay. Well, having now achieved some kind of victory in the war, you wonder if someone in the court might help you return home. It would be our pleasure if you can show us the way. Speaking of which, I don't know if you guys remember the song The Way by Fastball. I mean, you guys are all mostly youngins anyway. But no, it blew my mind to realize that the song The Way was actually talking about a real, like, true crime case about a missing, like, elderly couple. I guess, though, between when the song was written and when the album came out, I think they figured out what happened to the couple, and it wasn't anything mysterious. It was it was just sad. It was dementia, and, like, yeah. I'm like, oh, that's too bad. Also, that was only one battle. There are many more to come, if my notes are to be trusted. Okay, well, if you understand this map correctly, if it even is a map, there appears to be some sort of signage ahead. And Halloween on the sides? There's safes? I don't know. Perhaps if you can reach those signs, you'll learn more about where you actually are, along with how to get home. And to reach them, we need to merely be swept forward by the tide, as we have been all along. Convenient, because we can move our castle, right? Like we didn't move the court before. Maybe we should have, to get to those interesting, like it looks like a tree stump in a meadow. Maybe the units on the side there. Maggie, I feel like you mentioned the story before. Are you coming down with dementia? Look, I absolutely retell stories over and over again. That's one of the best things about streaming, is that there's always new people. So that means I get to reuse the same stories. Okay. High tide while the field is broken, arrange it to your advantage. Okay, so we're back in this. We need to get rid of those guys. Damn, that wasn't what I wanted to have happen, but whatever. Fuck. I didn't notice how low I was for time. God damn it. Take a look inside the storage unit. You were quite curious about what you might find inside the storage unit, but it's locked. Okay, we're gonna need some soldiers. Okay, that's as many people as we can field. Oh no, there's one guy over there. Don't come after me. There, we're fine. I think I have to do that. There we go. That gets that, at least. Okay. I love the little sounds they make. Oh right, enemy troops can't cross water. I completely forgot about that. A menacing birdcage suddenly appears in front of the court. Your Majesty, I have notes on this foe. Let me know if you'd like to see them. I mean, obviously. Robin has notes on how the birdcage behaves in battle. Right, here's what my notes say. First, at the start of low tide, the birdcage will flood its surroundings with water. Following that, the birdcage will attack the court with birds. Fighting it may prove tricky. If it's always surrounded by water, the court soldiers will be unable to reach it. You agree. You wonder if there's another approach the court could take. Either way, you thank Robin for the information. You've noticed a subtle difference between some of the enemy courts on the battlefield. Is it that some of them have people and some of them don't? Because I noticed that a while ago. Yeah, well, many enemies' courts have soldiers prominently stationed outside their gates. There are also plenty of them that appear to be completely empty. You think you can maybe assume that these empty ones will not attack the court during the coming battle? Yes, you can assume that. Additionally, you can see when enemy soldiers will attack the court over here on the timeline. Even soldiers might be no threat if you can deal with their courts before they attack. Okay. I'm not quite sure what I'm supposed to be doing there. Your Majesty, look, there's a chest resting on that patch of land. We should be able to recover its contents as long as it remains in sight until low tide. There's another chest, okay. Fuck, I got rid of it. Fuck, I got rid of that one. What am I doing? It's a lot of birds over there. Okay. As low tide begins, the birdcage surrounds itself with a moat. Gather all manners of trinkets, treasures, trifles, and toys. Selection of goods for the taking. Bird offensive. Oh, we got a bird. Okay. Gunboat. Offensive rock attacks the enemy via water. Sidestep. Working spell. Move in any direction as long as it's horizontal. Can we get all of these? Yes, we can. Okay. Okay. Maybe we get a bird? Wait. No! I wanted that! Fuck! Undo. Left bumper. Okay. Okay, we got it. Okay, so we want a bird. Wait, move. No. I don't want to move it. Okay, we're doing this. Whatever. I feel like those boats were a terrible idea. I didn't really understand what they were going to be doing. Oh, wait, no. It's defending... Oh, okay. Not necessarily terrible. That's very good defense to have right there. Kind of a tie? Having escaped the birdcage, the court now arrives at its initial destination. Taking a spyglass to the top of the walls, you see if the sign ahead can give you any clues or directions. Dead end. Oh, I know this one. This is a memento mori. I hear they're popular among mortals. This one is quite simple, perhaps even unrefined. It says dead end, so any mortal who reads it can remember exactly what waits them at the end. There's a cross stitch that I've been meaning to do that was, what is it? I think it was like, when work seems overwhelming, remember that someday you'll die. And I love it because you can kind of take it in the, like, is the sweet embrace of freedom will someday free you from this. But it also is the, like, don't take this too seriously. It's not the end of the world. Like, you're not saving lives. It's a little bit of like a YOLO thing as well. Yeah. In case they forgot. Precisely. Okay, well, where you're from, this sign generally means that you cannot proceed any further. As you say this, a gasp. Her Majesty is right! The court is not facing forward. We've been letting the tide carry us backwards ever since the feast. Okay. Well, in that case, how do you get about correcting that misalignment? Life is short, eat the cake, exactly. Use the fine china. I kind of was like that with a piece of jewelry where I kind of had been saving it for more special occasion-y sort of things, and then I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna wear this every day. The cat responds to this question by falling asleep on your lap. The beast is right. A good night's sleep should return the court to its default state. And so the court decides to retire early for the day. With time and repetition comes comfort. You feel your maximum level of comfort increase to 1. Okay. On the next morning, you awaken in a strange bed. The bed is strange, not just because it is not your usual bed, but because it is also not the bed you fell asleep in. Puck told you any room within the court might be the Queen's, so you parted with him at the first room you found that wasn't already occupied. A small chamber beneath a staircase, a twin-sized bed neighbored by a nightstand and a lamp, and a small desk in the corner. No windows. Yeah, no. I would not be sleeping in a small room underneath the staircase. Like, give me a queen-size bed, okay? Queen-size bed, perfect size for 1 person. King-size bed, perfect size for 2+ people, okay? Like, I'm a tall woman. A queen-size bed is just the right size for me. Give us a room with a view! We demand a balcony! Meanwhile, the bed you awaken is queen-sized and contained within a spacious chamber that opens onto a balcony. So, like, literally what we were talking about. So that's where I left my backup power. We manifested our dream room, yeah. The balcony overlooks the courtyard of your new home. You appear to be roughly 5 stories above the ground. So what should we do in our bedchambers? Take a nap. Explore the court. Take stock of your possessions. You look over the scant possessions that were on your person when you arrived to the court. Everything appears to be where you left it, with one irritating exception. Sometime between your arrival and now, you've managed to misplace your keys. In a way, you suppose you also managed to misplace the locks those keys are intended for. A mystery, admittedly, of much greater concern than your missing keys. So I guess we have no option here, we just need to explore the court. Okay, so things we can do. Return to our office, investigate the dining hall. Wait! There's the man named Puck. You have a lot to say to him. Let's talk to Puck. The man named Puck is just across the courtyard. Perfect. You have many things you wish to ask him. Yet as you draw near, he quickly exits the scene. You might be imagining it, but he appeared to retreat the moment he saw your approach. Yeah, that was like one of my elementary school teachers. Every time my mom walked into the school, he turned around and went the other way because he didn't want to get yelled at. I'm like, maybe you should stop being such a dick to Tiny Moggy. Okay, investigate the dining hall. What should we do here? Yeah, I could go for some breakfast. I don't know about you guys. I feel like breakfast food is anytime food. In the light of day, the feasting hall more closely resembled a common dining area. You collect some breakfast from a buffet, and oh, breakfast buffets are so good. Wait, remember to ask for food first? I mean, we're the queen of the fairies, right? Technically, this is all ours. I feel like we already have ownership over everything here. You'd prefer to sit somewhere out of the way, near an exit, ideally hidden. You sit in the most nondescript location you can find, a corner near a trash bin. Before you finish a bite, a whole host of fairy courtiers arrive with their meals to sit with you. They make idle conversation and a few honest attempts at answering your myriad of questions, none of them successful. As you complete your meal, you idly note that your table is now the most lively and boisterous table within the hall. This is like always my nightmare at work, you know? Try to find a nice little hidey hole to read my book while I eat my lunch, and then suddenly you got people sitting with you. You also note, idly, that despite your assurances that he would answer all your questions, the man called Puck remains nowhere to be seen. As a result of eating breakfast, you get a small bonus. You got 10 wheat. Okay, so there's nothing else to do in the dining hall. Okay, so we're back at our office. It's getting late. You should see the business of the day. Go to war. Look out the Let's look out the window. There are some dogs catching frisbees in the courtyard, just out of frame. That's fantastic. Neat. Okay, we are going to have to see... I don't know if we can save in this game, but it is just the demo anyway, so if we can't save, that's not the end of the world. But yeah, that was Titanium Court. Do I have a link that I can drop quickly? There we go. I do. So if you are enjoying this game and you want to play the demo for yourself, there it is.